8:23. Speaking of travel and speaking of food, perfect segue. It is that time of year. Spring is here, summer right around the corner, and people are mapping out their summer vacation plans. If you're a foodie like me, we have some great ideas for you. Travel expert Erik the Travel Guy Hastings of erikthetravelguy.com. That's Erik with a K, erikthetravelguy.com. Joins us now with some suggestions. Good morning, Erik.
Good morning, Ken. How are you?
Just you, I saw you in the monitor as you're like you see, oh, these Italians nonstop with the food. This is it's like, when you take your gravy, you put your sauce over here, you put your scarole in there. It just goes on and
Listen,
on. I know we're obsessed.
you were kibitzing long enough. I had time to go out, run down the street, get a coffee, and come back before this segment started.
Well, all right, so I'll delay no more. You are the master of travel, and you certainly know about some great values and destinations for foodies. So, what are some ideas of if you are a foodie, what are some great ideas for food related travel?
When we started doing Beyond Your Backyard, when we were developing that show for PBS, one of the first things that we talked about was how do you tell the story of place? And we talked a lot about history, culture. Obviously, if you don't know where we came from, it's hard to, sometimes it can be hard to understand where we are today, and furthermore, where we're going. So, a lot of history, culture about the people and the environment, certainly outside. But one of the key factors was the food. Why is the food important in that place? Is the food important in that place? And what we found, 9 times out of 10, food plays a role in lots of places all over the world. So food and travel go hand in hand. And I love the fact that they do, because sometimes we feel like we have to manufacture reasons to travel. And food can be one of those things. You think, well, gee, Erik, am I really going to go on vacation just to eat? The reality of it is, if you don't, I say you're kind of missing out. Because, Ken, you and
Mhm.
I have talked about places like New Orleans. New Orleans is a food town. When was the last time you were in New Orleans, Ken? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's been 20 years, but back then I had time to go. I've been there 5 times, and I literally
Yeah,
never had a bad meal from
no,
Commander's Palace on the high end to like little holes in the wall on a side street. You
that's right.
literally, there was a woman, I'm sorry to digress here, a woman on this little side street, this little tiny little stand practically. And I ordered something, and she literally told me, "Oh, you don't want to order that with this. You want to order it with that, and you have to eat it with this." And she instructed me.
Right.
Unbelievable. One of the best meals I ever had. I think it cost $6. But I'm sorry, I
Right.
digress.
No, that's a great example, because again, when you go to New Orleans, you then, through the food, you can actually learn about the culture. Why are those ingredients there? The difference is certainly in New Orleans between Cajun and Creole food. You go to places like Lafayette, Louisiana. If you love Tabasco sauce, then you need to go to Lafayette, Louisiana. Why? Because right there on Avery Island is the only place in the world where Tabasco sauce is grown. The peppers are grown there and manufactured there and shipped there all over the world. And that is just outside Lafayette, Louisiana. So again, examples like that where you stop and think, oh my gosh, you know what? I love, let's say you love hot dogs. If you're a hot dog person, where are you going, Ken? You know where you're going. You're going to Chicago for a Chicago
Right.
style hot dog. Hello. And because again, you learn the Chicago style hot dog with the Vienna Beef Company. They've been making Chicago style hot dogs since the late 1800s. They've never changed their ingredients, and you find out that sausages are huge in Chicago because of who? The German
Right.
population that moves to the Midwest. So you really learn, and then you find out that Chicago is one of those towns that has, much like New York, all different kinds of cultures. So you've got lots of opportunity to eat a lot of different foods. So yeah, you absolutely can travel to eat.
And what about cruises? Now, I know you also know a heck of a lot about cruises. You've been on so many: good, bad, expensive, not expensive. Is
Yeah.
it of value if you're looking for a great culinary experience? Are all cruise ships the same, or does it really depend and you have to really hunt and peck?
You don't have to hunt and peck as much as you used to. And for those of your viewers that are thinking, oh gosh, I'm not going on a cruise to eat, you might be thinking of a cruise ship from like 1989. The culinary equation has changed, and the culinary offerings on board these ships have changed dramatically over the years. And we're talking primarily ocean cruise lines here as opposed to river. River cruising tends to be a little bit more expensive. River cruising also tends to have even better food. So we're talking ocean, we're talking mass market, I would say, the Carnival, the Royal Caribbeans, the Norwegians of the world. But you really don't have to hunt as far to get a great meal on board those ships. And a lot of times, it's funny, the food that's included without paying an extra little surcharge, it might be hit or miss in that dining room. You might have 5 courses of food, those small portions, and you might like 3 of them, or you might like 2 of them that night. And you come back the next night, and so it's a little bit the steakhouses, the Italian restaurants, the teppanyaki, all the other premium restaurants on board. You're paying $25 a head, and you're going to get what you pay for. It's delicious.
Good deal. All right. And then finally, just an idea, something a little different. I have friends who booked Airbnbs specifically because they live in an apartment in the city with a little tiny kitchen. And in order to experience what it's like to have a chef's kitchen, they booked it so they could actually do the cooking themselves, but have friends there and cook in a chef's kitchen. And on the flip side, I have friends who booked such Airbnbs and then hired a chef. And they had groups of couples and they made a holiday out of that. Is that becoming a thing, or is it just my one friend who did that?
No, it is a thing. It's a great thing. And actually, the only caveat I'll give you to that is I am all for booking accommodations that have a kitchen, especially if you have children. Because again, saving a couple of bucks on some meals that are pretty utilitarian, eggs or eggs or eggs or eggs, unless, of course, you go to the Waldorf Astoria, which is scheduled to open later on this year, and have Eggs Benedict, who, they most likely invented it. If not, could be Delmonico's downtown. That's a whole other segment altogether. But the only caveat I'll give you to getting your own kitchen at your place is to make sure you are eating the food that is local and natural to that place in which you are. Don't just go there and make the same old stuff you make at home. That's my only cautionary tale with that.
That's great advice. I did that in Mexico, by the way, and went to the
Yeah.
local market and got like the local farm eggs and really made Mexican omelets and stuff. It was a great experience. It really was. In fact, now I want to do it again. So that's great advice. Erik the Travel Guy Hastings. Check out his website, erikthetravelguy.com. That's Erik with a K, erikthetravelguy.com. Always good to see you, my friend. And thanks for joining us this morning. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter. Thank you, my friend.